So this is episode 1 of series 3 of Me, Myself and Mental Health, which was meant to come out as part of Mental Health, World Mental Health Week. However, the week just kind of vanished, and so it didn't happen. This Sunday is World Mental Health Day. For whatever reason, it doesn't land in the same week, so I'm just going to treat this like a countdown instead. So I'm going to start with boundaries today. And I think when people hear boundaries, they immediately go to sex. But there's so much more to boundaries, and that's certainly something that I have been discovering, trying to work out, trying to understand. Boundaries with work, with friends, and most importantly, with yourself. I'm going to start with social boundaries. Um, Last year, I was on an eternally upwards trajectory when it came to partying. I was going out a hell of a lot. Um, Whether I was really in the mood or not, I would always say um, I would always say yes because I felt like I had a bit of a reputation to uphold when it came to things like that. It wasn't just like partying, going for a couple of drinks. It was like out till 4, 5, 6 a.m. Spending a lot of money, taking in a lot of things, and sometimes being out like towards the end of last year. The group I was with, we were out like through November 5 or 6 nights a week till 4 in the morning, which very understandably took its toll on everyone's physical and mental well-being, and some of our relationships with each other, because that's just a possible way to live. And last summer, like as in before lockdown, I was going hard a hell of a lot, going to like big events, which weren't necessarily my buzz, but I got caught up in the buzz of, well, people I enjoy the company of want to go, so I'm here for it. It impacted me so heavily that I kind of lost myself a bit in it. Like I stopped being able to hang out by myself, which is something I used to be really good at because I'd spent so long pushing myself into this social environment that I detached from who I actually was. And the beginning of this year, when I got my first real severe bout of anxiety, which I'll talk about in the next video, I had to start saying no to people um, for my own physical and mental well-being. But I had to learn that it was also okay. I didn't have to apologize for saying no. I don't feel like going out, or no, I don't want to go to like this major thing, but let's just go for a drink or whatever. And that was the hardest bit for me, was to not be sorry for setting boundaries in a situation, because you shouldn't be. If someone is your friend, they should respect the fact that maybe you're just not in the right place to do that. And if they only are interested in hanging out with you when you do things that they want, or when they are only interested in drinking with you or going out till 4 or 5 in the morning with you and doing these big things, then they're probably not that good a friend. And something I got out of that, it just really taught me to be honest with myself about what situations I'm comfortable with, who I want to be around, and when. Now that I've been firm with like this is not something I enjoy, uh, they get it. They will still maybe sometimes see if I want to go because they're going, but there's never any pressure, never even the, oh, come on, you'll enjoy it when you get there, because that's really kind of frustrating. And I know it's usually out of good intent, because they want you to be there. But if you've made it quite clear multiple times that you don't enjoy particular environments, it's not really fair for someone to keep pushing you to get involved. If you've got plans, if you've got plans with someone, and then on the day you're really not up for it, you should you should be able to be honest about that. Don't ghost them. I think ghosting is really kind of disrespectful, and you don't even need to give them a big reasoning why. You don't even need to go into depth, but like you're having a shitty day, unless that's something you want to talk about. Just saying, hey, not feeling it today, can we rearrange? Most people get it, and if they don't, fuck them. about boundaries with yourself. You've got to set boundaries for yourself. Like I said, last year I was pushing myself to be out all the time, to keep up this image that I had, and it done me in. It broke me. Um, and I think you've got to ease up on yourself. You've got to say, no, I'm not going to say yes to this extra shift. No, I'm not going to go out today. Even if it's a big event, you can arrange another thing with them for when it works for you or for when you're feeling better. Just because it's a big event, you don't have to even just go for that one drink to show your face, because that can be really overwhelming. And then when you get there, you can feel like you have to say. So setting those boundaries with yourself as well. Uh, no, I don't have to have done all these things during lockdown. I don't have to have learned this much or been this productive. I don't have to offer an explanation here. And that goes into work, because I think work is a place where people really struggle with boundaries, and I certainly have done for years. I am a yes man, or have been a yes man when it comes to picking up hours, covering shifts. Uh, I've never really thought to get paid what I should get paid, or to be listened to as well as I should have been listened to in certain jobs. And that has left me really suffering multiple times. Uh, and it's really this year, but over the last few years, but this year especially, I've been like, no, like enough is enough. I'm really putting boundaries in place, in terms of my career, particularly because working in hospitality in an environment we've been in, it's been fucking stressful for everyone. It's been shitty. Um, and if you don't have some boundaries with that, some rules for yourself and for your work environment, then it's twice as hard. So I'm currently off work at the minute. I was originally going to take a month off, but I'm now decided, like, a month is such a short time, and half of that was spent in lockdown. But yeah, I decided I was going to take a month off because I found myself getting physical symptoms of stress. It was awful. It was really horrible. I was waking up with cramps that replicated the pain of appendicitis. I was having skin breakouts and like itchy, burny skin. I stopped sleeping. I rapidly gained a load of weight. I was having like crazy fever dreams. Just horrible, horrible things. It sort of occurred to me that the only way for me to sort of deal with that was to remove as many things as I could from my life and just try and work out where I was at and what was going on with myself. And that has involved my remembering that I don't exist just to party and work, because that's all I did for a couple of years. I was working as much as I could, saying yes to jobs that I definitely didn't have the time to do, but I didn't want to let anyone down. And then I wasn't doing the job as properly as I could have, so I was still letting people down, which I let myself down. And then in between, I was, of course, out because I couldn't say no. So this downtime has been remembering that I am good at painting and that I love doing it. Learning how to do photography more, writing again. I've started studying an online course in counselling and psychology, and just remembering that I am a full person. I've been saying for years I was going to study again, and that I need to write more, and that I need to do more creative things. Because even though my job's quite creative, it's my job, so it's not the same. It's not an outlet. It's how I pay my rent. So I took a couple of weeks off from my job, so I was like, I need to rest and clear my head. And then as soon as I went back, I was having panic attacks again, stopped sleeping again, skin was breaking out again. So I was like, right, I just need to get away. Gave me a notice. Was asked if I could do a longer notice period, and I ummed and ahed, but then I had a really bad shift, and that's when I had to really put my boundaries in. I was like, no, like, I'm not leaving because I'm bored. I want another job. Like, this is for my own well-being. The answer is no. And I've really had to drill into some people. Like, a few people have asked me to come and do shifts, and working in hospital has been one of the things that has most negatively impacted my health, because I took 3 years off from working behind a bar, and then this year I've been back doing it again, and I've just seen my brain go formative side where you absolutely need to keep the smile on, and you have the wanky hours and people who just still don't understand level 2 rules the fifth time round. I'm a person who has to absolutely feel my feelings when I'm feeling them, and I really struggled to be in that environment when I was feeling so much and so many shitty things. I've had to, you know, outright say, please don't ask me again to do any shifts. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to put myself back in that environment that so negatively impacted me, whilst I'm trying to work out who I am again. And once I said that, I felt like whoever had been holding my shoulders down like this had just let go. I felt so much relief in finally putting up that boundary and being like, no. Because for years, I would say any shift that needed covering, I'd do it. Um, Staying late, starting early. A job I worked at a few years ago, two of us left and they hired five people to replace us, to give you an idea of how I worked. Um, and now I'm just so aware of the grind mentality being bullshit. I'm good enough at what I do that I should not need to work all these hours to get the same money. I should be getting paid what my skill set says, and that's all I'll be taking going forward. And if that means I'm off work for quite a long time and I can only rely on smaller incomes from doing things like quizzes and events, so be it. Taking the time over the last few months to understand what my boundaries are, and then also taking the time to know that it is not only okay to set them, but it's completely necessary to set them and to have them with every aspect of your life, with work, with yourself, with friends, and of course with sex. Um, it has been absolutely the best thing for me. I think had I not learned that over the last year, then I would be in a far, far worse state than I have been. So boundaries are vital to recovery, particularly if they have been to mine. I would say probably I won't go back and look for work this year, because I don't want to rush this. I don't want to be like, oh, I feel good this week. I'm going to go and start working again, and I'm going to start going out all the time again, because I'll just go back to square one. Yeah, that's kind of me for this one. Just saying to anyone, do your best. That's all you can do. It's taken me a real long time to work out what boundaries I need and what boundaries I need to set up in different aspects. Work, I just think, is the main one for everyone at the minute, and particularly, the hospo guys who are just dealing with some massive dickheads, difficult situations. No one's making as much money, so everyone's a bit angsty about that. If you can't set boundaries with your job, then definitely set them with yourself. Make sure that when you're not working, you're not answering messages, you're not answering calls, you're not saying yes to extra shifts, because yeah, you might be doing a favor for whatever company you work for, but you're not doing anything yourself, and you're just going to end up hopefully nowhere where I was, but we can. So look after yourselves.